Most people dread sanding because it usually means dragging out a heavy corded beast that only does one thing. But this little cordless unit from WORX tries to flip that script entirely. It is essentially a Swiss Army knife for woodworkers. Instead of buying 5 different sanders to handle corners, flat surfaces, or tight spots, this thing just swaps out the base. The way it handles that is actually pretty clever. There is a lock button and a lever, and once you flip it, the pad pops right off. It uses what they call a hyperlock system, and honestly, it feels rock solid. You get that 1 ton of clamping force, so you are not worried about the pad flying off mid-project. Now here is the thing about these multi-tools. Sometimes they try to do too much and end up being mediocre at everything. This one manages to avoid that trap for the most part. It hits 10,000 orbits per minute, which is plenty of speed for smoothing out rough grain or prepping for a finish. The variable speed dial is a nice touch, too. You can dial it way back if you are working on something delicate, or crank it up when you need to strip some material off quickly. It feels balanced in the hand, not too top-heavy, which is a big deal when you are working on a vertical surface for a while. The dust collection is decent, though it is not going to replace a shop vac hooked up to a dedicated extraction system. The little bag does a fair job of catching the bulk of the mess, but you will still see some fine particles floating around if you are in a small room. One thing that stands out is the sheer amount of stuff they throw in the box. You get the adapter, the hole punch for the paper, and a decent stack of sanding sheets right out of the gate. It is nice not having to run to the hardware store the second you open the package. If there is a downside, it is that you have to be mindful of the battery. Since it is part of that PowerShare system, it is great if you already own other WORX tools, but if you are starting from scratch, you have to factor in the cost of the battery and charger. Also, while the tool list changes fast, you do have to make sure you align the pads correctly, or you might find yourself fiddling with it for a second longer than you expected. It is not a deal breaker, just a small learning curve. For someone who does a bit of everything, from furniture restoration to small craft projects, this is a really smart way to save space on the workbench. It is not a professional-grade industrial sander, but for the home hobbyist, it is a surprisingly capable little workhorse that makes a tedious job feel a lot less like a chore.
Check out the video description for updated price. And thank you for watching this video.